This is Nate Behar here.
This is Kwaku Boateng, and listen to
the Eskimo Empire podcast. Let's go, Esks.
Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire podcast.
Here's Mike Riley, takes the drop, waits and throws, and he's going deep downfield to Darius Bowman. Oh my goodness, what a catch by Darius Bowman. You won't see many better than that. Franklin to Zylstra, touchdown Eskimos. Pressure's coming. Oh, Levi Mitchell goes down. There's a big play for the defense. Somersaults for everybody.
Welcome back to the Turf District for episode 87 of the Eskimo Empire podcast. I am your host, Andrew. Thank you for downloading and having a listen. And thank you to everyone that took the time to listen to the Andrew Nowacki podcast, as it set a brand new download record in a matter of 5 days. So it was an amazing conversation, and we'll have more on that as we go forward. This one is another spepisode that we have for you. We just kind of had this all kind of come together last minute, but we are going to introduce you to a couple new pieces of the One Empire. So with me, as always, to chat about this, of course, it is Superfan Mike.
What a great episode we're going to be having today.
Oh my goodness. I am so fired up. It just kind of came together. Of course, you were watching the draft. I was in the midst of a kid's birthday party, and you're filling me in. But then after everyone left, I started following all of these guys and saying, hey, this is the guy that we got, and I like this. And a couple of them responded back and followed back, and I said, hey, would you guys like to be part of the show? And next thing you know, here we go. We got
24 hours
later, we're talking to a couple of these draft picks, and they're just great dudes. So I can't wait to get to that. Now, before we get there, though, let's first quickly, I do want to talk about the One Empire ad, because we chatted about it a bit on the Periscope, but I don't know about you, Mike, but man, I got goosebumps watching that thing.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I think that the visual itself was great, but just the whole package, how it married together with the music, the overall feel of it just was raising the hairs on my arms. It was just...
It's very 300.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, that was awesome.
It gets you so pumped up, and you're just like getting so excited for this thing. The close-ups I thought were outstanding as well. There was that one older guy with the helmet.
Yeah.
It just really
Miss
showed...
Pam in the one shot too. Yeah, which is awesome.
Just showed that passion that we all have for this team, this league, this sport. It's just so exciting to see that really sort of captured in that video, and just one of those things that every time I see it, and I've watched it a lot, and of course seen it on TV during the draft and things like that. Yeah. It just gets me so fired up for this season to start. It's like, come on, June, baby.
Exactly. How many times have you watched it and yelled out loud?
Oh yeah, every time.
I know, it's so awesome. As soon as Mike yells, we're all like, yeah. That's right, yeah.
We are Eskimos. No.
And exactly. I know I showed it to Nicole, and the first thing that she said was, oh, I'm so sorry you couldn't be there that day. Because it was just so awesome, so powerful.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Of course, we were working, so there's no way we could make it. But
yeah, but well done, Eskimos. And hey, the new hashtag, right up my alley.
Can't complain about that one.
Empire, you got that right, and you are on the Empire podcast. Exactly. We also covered on the Periscope a little bit that went down as far as the CFL conference call that we were very excited to be invited to be a part of. Love how the CFL is, recognizing podcasts and blogs as another form, and another form of attaching to the fan.
Well, especially, I like to come back to what podcaster Ryan from the CFL Horseman said when he was on our show, is that we represent a different view of the players and the team and everything else. Is we're not here to be super critical and putting down the team, everything else. We're going to call it like we see it.
Yeah.
But when we have
fans.
these players on, we want to get to know them as people as well as players. And I'd like to think that that's how it sort of comes across when we have these interviews.
Exactly. And, geez, you're the master of the segue. That was fantastic because...
more than just a hat rack.
Exactly. So follow along, watch the replay on the Periscope to figure out kind of where everything was at as far as that CFL conference call. Of course, they did bring the Bring It In ad, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
And just a great promotion, and we'll, of course, be getting all our support behind that because I thought, again, just totally moving, right, from Sandlot right to the pros.
Well, great commercial, but an even better message, I think. That sense of inclusion, right? This is a sport, this is a game for everyone.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your race, religion, creed, any of it. This is for you, this is for us.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
Bring it all in.
Bring it in and let's get to the games, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you talked there about how they are recognizing podcasts of kind of getting to know the players a little bit more.
Yeah.
So let's start with getting to know a couple of these players that are about to hopefully be part of the team.
Yeah. Well, the draft was absolutely amazing, and I think that the fact that we had these players that we were very excited about before we even got to the draft, to hear their names called as Edmonton Eskimos was so exciting that I just couldn't wait for this moment.
Absolutely, and some great picks overall. I don't want to exclude any of the other picks that we did have, but let's just quickly run down, I guess, our picks from the Eskimos.
Yeah.
So first round, 5th overall, Nate Behar.
Yep.
And that is coming up in just a moment. That is our first guest, which is fantastic. Then in the second round, we were able to pick up
Jean-Simon Roy, who is an offensive lineman for Laval. He was 14th overall.
Perfect. And then in round 3, 22nd overall, we were able to pick up linebacker Chris Malumba.
Round 4, which was the 31st overall, we got Jordan Hoover, who was the defensive back from the University of Waterloo.
Awesome. And then in round 5, we were able to 40th overall. We picked up the one who was basically ranked number 1 in a lot of mock drafts, offensive lineman Justin Senior, who of course did get drafted by the Seahawks. It might be a few years for him, but a great pickup in round 5.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with taking a flyer in the 5th round, especially when you have 2 picks, because of the very next pick, number 41. We took Kwaku Boateng, defensive lineman from Wilfrid Laurier, another guy who does have he has a minicamp invite to the Chicago Bears, but that's still a good possibility we might see him up here.
Absolutely, and he is our second guest for tonight.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to those guys. Round 6, 49th overall, we pick offensive lineman Kwabena Asare, also out of Carleton, and Nate fills us in a bit on him in the interview.
Yeah, and lastly, we did not have a 7th round pick. So the 8th round pick, which was 67th overall, we picked up another defensive lineman, this time from McMaster University, Mark Mackey.
Yeah, all really good. I thought Sunderland did well for his first draft,
Yes.
of course, mostly on the back of Rob Ralph, who did a lot of the legwork. And all reports at this point was that the Esks had a really good draft.
Yeah, I think that you really can't be too upset with the way our draft went. I think we had a nice balance of guys that we need pretty quickly, as well as guys who were just sort of the best players available. When we got to that 5th round and Justin Senior still had not been taken yet, that was just like, someone's got to take a flyer on this guy because he's way too good. Guys like Philip Blake, who was drafted by Montreal and then subsequently drafted in the NFL in the 4th round, so 2 rounds higher than Senior was. And he still made it to Montreal in after a couple of years. So if we can see him and Kwaku Boateng play for the Eskimos, this is going to be one of the greatest drafts we ever had. I think 87 is probably my favorite draft. This is going to be certainly as good, if not better.
Absolutely. Well, and you know what? I think there's no better way to kick it off than to get to our first guest. We'll get right to him right now. And honestly, probably, again, a steal for us even at number 5.
Yes.
The first pick in the draft, like we said, 5th overall. He's 5'11", 204 pounds. He's a wide receiver from Carleton University. It is Mr. Nate Behar. Welcome to the Empire, man.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
This is awesome. We're so excited that you got to join us right afterwards. Tell us, how was draft day yesterday, and how was it when you heard your name being called by the Esks?
It was bizarre. I didn't really know what to expect going into the day. So many emotions. You start the day off just full of excitement, and then it kind of morphs into a bit of anxiousness and just a bit of anxiety. It's tough having something such a big decision happening in your life that you actually have zero control over. That's the craziest part about it, is not knowing where you're going to go and having no say. You don't get to be like, please pick me this team, or like that. Nothing matters. So it was fun. And then when the moment finally happened, it was just like a sigh of relief and just joy getting to come to a place as awesome as this.
It was very cool seeing you on. There was a video posted of the live pick, and the excitement was just amazing to watch for sure.
Yeah, it was great.
So you took part in the National Combine this year, and you actually posted the fastest 40 time. You had some great catches and everything else. How was that whole experience for you? It
was great. I mean, it was so well run. It was smooth, effortless. They gave us great accommodations, everything like that. And then just getting to compete with the guys. Good handful of them you had gotten to spend some time with at East West the year before. Actually, I'm wearing the sweater right now.
Nice.
See, at East West, so you have a bit of a personal relationship already with some of those guys, which is cool. So it makes the day a little bit more, or like the day is a little more relaxed. You don't need to go in. Those guys actually, you're kind of cheering each other on. And I think most people know, like, it's not really about how poorly the guy you're going against does. It's how well you do. So I think that alleviates some of the stress, and it's not as cutthroat as I think some people on the outside would think. So it's nice that we got to kind of cheer each other on and stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, did you actually interview then with the Esks when you went to the Combine?
Yeah, I interviewed with all 9 teams.
Oh, fantastic. Not that surprising, but, I was going to ask anyway. Did you ever get an inkling beforehand that you might be coming to Edmonton?
Well, it was a little different because Ed Harvey was there. So Ed Harvey, this was a little different in the room, and Coach Moss is kind of steel-faced and, a little stuff. He's very, very calm and collected. So you're never sure. I could have been annoying the heck out of him, or he could have been totally infatuated with my game, and I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. So I wasn't entirely sure. I mean, they asked some good questions that they definitely showed some interest, but I wasn't 100% sure. And they were actually one of the teams that didn't call me too much after the draft, or after the Combine. Sorry. So I wasn't exactly sure where their standing was with me. But obviously I'm happy it worked out. So.
Yeah, so are we. Yeah, exactly. Let's travel back a bit. We ask all of our players that we get on, when did you start playing football, and who kind of introduced you to the sport? I
think my mom put me into it, and my mom and dad decided I should play because I think I had a whole bunch of energy and was just just running around. I was about 6 years old, so I was quite young. I remember about 6 years old, 7 years old, playing with kids a year older than me, and I was a twig and a little infant, but it was great. I loved it right away.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw you'd like to have some fun. You took over the CFL Snapchat. What other kind of fun things do you like to do when you're out playing?
I mean, I'm a big Xbox guy, PS3 guy.
Nice.
Right now I'm on Xbox because my roommate has it. I got to make my own decision and be grown up and pick one now because I got to buy one myself. So I'm open to any suggestions. Maybe I'll put that on Twitter or something, see what people have to say. But I'm that. I mean, I like to read. I play some instruments, play guitar and stuff like that. So I went to an art school growing up. So I'm definitely into the music and whatnot, and read a book every now and then when I have time, and it's pretty easy.
That's really cool. I mean, there is a CFL game coming out for Xbox, so I don't know if that'll sway one way or the other. But
that is actually a very good point. So
there you go. See, yeah, we're all wait. Oh, I wonder what number you're going to get. Oh, I wonder if you get 11. Okay. Anyway, I did see a post right after the draft where you said you're coming to join the Esks with Riley throwing you the ball and Shamad, of course, being here and learning from Adarius Bowman. How excited are you to start working with some of those guys?
Oh, I mean, it's so cool. I mean, Adarius is just watching interviews and stuff with him. I've obviously been a fan of him since he started tearing up the league. as a receiver, and like he seems like a real good guy. I've heard nothing but good things about him. Yeah. He obviously knows what he's doing on the field, and I can't wait to pick his brain. He got a 2-time Grey Cup winning champion, quarterback throwing the ball. And again, I was just going through film today, like watching his pocket presence and how just nothing seems to crack Mike Riley. It's just like, it's going to be so cool to get to learn from that. Have him break a couple of my fingers and stuff. It'll be, can't wait. And then, I mean, my OC's an receivers coach as well. Yeah. Coach Moss is an offensive guru. It's like checking all the boxes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We can't wait to see you for sure. So, we talked earlier that you're not the only Carleton product coming to town. So, what's it like at Carleton, the experience? And can you tell us a bit about, now I'm going to have to try and pronounce this, Kwabena Asare?
That's much better than most. Yeah, Kwabena Asare. Kwabena Asare, you nailed it. Yeah, it's great there. I mean, we got such a different dynamic on our team because out of all our vets, we've all been together for 4 years, and we came into the program that had nothing. So we grew up and we were all children, and none of us knew right from wrong or left foot from right foot. So we're really tight knit. So yesterday was awesome. I mean, there's about 25, 30 of us all together that are still in town, just watching it, cheering on for everybody. Whenever a guy got picked from that wasn't with us, like we try to give him a call or anything like that and reach out to him. So it's a tight knit group. Kwabena coming is bittersweet because he has the best knack of anybody I've ever met at getting under my skin. He's the most talented Nate Behar pest on earth. He takes absolute pride in it, by the way. He came up to the gym today with a big grin on his face, like, I'm following you. Yeah. And so it'll be fun. But no, he's one of my best friends. I love Kwabena, and he's a crazy, hardworking guy. The Eskimos fans are going to love that out of him. He's one of those guys that just always plays with a chip on his shoulder. Even though he's 6'8", 320, he plays like he's a guy who might as well be 5'2", 200, with just that anger that he's got got a little bit of little man syndrome, even though he's the biggest dude on the field. So it's a good thing for sure. So
that's awesome.
Awesome. So for those fans that are just kind of getting to know you, what's the main thing that you bring to the team as a receiver?
I think as a person, as a competitor, I'm relentless. Relentless. That's my big word I always like to go back to. Receiving, and especially in Canada, with how there's so many options brought into routes and everything like that. It's really a 4-man unit. It's a 5-man unit, 6 wide sometimes, and it's about working together. Like if you guys aren't all seeing the same thing out of the defense, you don't take the right release, you don't do the little things right, then no one's going to be open. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I like to bring everywhere I go. Is that it is about doing it together, whether that's extra film stuff together as a group to make sure we're all on the same page, we're seeing the same stuff, we see the same keys in the defense, and I'm just excited to bring that with a work ethic and an appetite to learn. As cheesy as it is, I honestly just want to get better at this sport. It's so
fire trucking
fun. I mean, why not? And I got guys to learn from.
You are going to fit in here like a glove, sir. I'm very excited about that. And you know what? He even smiles like a Darius. Yeah. I see that. Yeah, see, it's perfect. Yeah. All right, we got a couple of rapid fire questions we're just going to ask you just so that people kind of get to know you a bit better. Favorite movie?
Ooh, All Three Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, good choices.
Nice pick.
What are you watching on Netflix these days?
Right now, I'm catching up on the last season of House of Cards.
Oh, nice.
Excellent choice. Favorite meal?
A nice, classic Jamaican oxtail meal. Like oxtail, rice. Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
some plantains in there, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, now I'm getting hungry.
Wow. I was going to say, yeah.
You just said you're a big music guy. So what are you listening to for music these days?
Hip-hop-wise, the new Kendrick Lamar is just second to none. He's incredible. I always got my Jimmy on rotation. Nice. It never goes away. The Zeppelin's always in there, and then I got some other stuff. I got some Miles Davis and everything like that going. So it's little
nice wide variety.
Yeah.
Wow. Geez, we're going to trade music too when you get here. It's awesome. Now, you said you're a gamer. What are you playing in between? Well, of course, let's start with the Xbox because that's what obviously you're getting. But what are you playing right now?
Right now, because I don't have all that much time, I'm pretty much just sticking with my EA Sports stuff. I've just been kind of rotating through FIFA, Madden. Back in my gamer days, I mean, I used to crush all the Assassin's Creed. Decent amount. I was a big house favorite here with my roommates, and then before that, I was like a Metal Gear Solid guy and all the Call of Duties, of course.
Of course. Well, you're gonna you'll have a good challenge when you get here. Odell's kind of good at Madden. I don't know if you heard about that, but yeah.
Fair enough. There'll be a challenge, I'm sure, for rookies. So, if you could travel anywhere right now, if every flight was $1, where would you go?
Hawaii. One of my friends is there, and she keeps putting up Snapchats, and it looks like the coolest place I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just the first one in my head.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, and now this one's a little bit tougher, but if you could spend an hour talking to any one person, alive or dead, who would it be?
Oh, but you go so many different ways.
Yeah.
I'll break it up this way. Athletically, Kobe. Musically, Jimmy. Politically, Martin Luther King. There we go.
Wow. Excellent choices. Excellent choices. Well, Nate, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to chat with us tonight. This is fantastic. And, of course, we look forward to seeing a whole bunch more of you in about 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Where can everybody find you online and all those types of things to connect with you?
I'm easy. I'm at Nate Behar 11 on everything. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram.
Perfect. And why 11, can I ask?
When I was an obnoxious, annoying 15-year-old in high school, moving up to varsity, who thought he was cool and had the dark visor, I want number 1. And then there's a grade 12 kid who had number 1. I was like, I'll buy it off you. Honestly, I'll give you an entire wage from one of my shifts. Like, I'll want to buy number 1 off you. He's like, no. And I was like, fine, I'll put 2 number 1s on my chest. And then I wore 11. And Larry Fitzgerald was my favorite receiver. So it kind of has two meanings to it, but ever since I loved it.
Oh, that's
fantastic. I don't think the equipment manager, Dwayne Mandrusiak, gives out number 1, but I think 11 might be free right now, so that will work out.
I'm an 11 guy, that's for sure. Number 1 is way beyond me. I'm past that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Nate. This is awesome. Of course, we'll catch up with you when you're in town. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with our next guest right after this.
Hey, this is Ryan King, Grey Cup champ.
And Calvin McCarty, also Grey Cup champ.
And you are listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
Hey guys, do you know there's even more ways to interact with the Empire online? What? That's right, you can find us on Twitter at EskEmpirePod, on Facebook under the Eskimo Empire Podcast group, on Instagram at EskEmpirePod, and you can also follow us on YouTube under our channel, the Eskimo Empire Podcast. Now, I know you guys like that Eskimo history segment, right? Yeah! You can follow more of that information at Esks History on Twitter, and you can find it on This Day in Esks History on Facebook. Don't forget to share, okay? Okay! Thanks so much for listening. Let's get back to the show. We are back, and we are now joined by the Esk's 6th pick at 41st overall. He's 6'2" and 250-pound D lineman from Wilfrid Laurier. It is Mr. Kwaku Boateng. Welcome to the Turf District and the Eskimo Empire.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's always a great time when I get a chance to talk to the fans and get a chance to just talk about football in general. So I'm grateful that you even requested this interview.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, we're very happy to have you. This is great. Tell us about your draft day yesterday and what it was like when you figured out that the Esks had picked you.
I think it was a roller coaster of emotions, and it was kind of tough because throughout the whole process, I was kind of looked at either going the first 3 rounds, and I think it was definitely a disappointment when I went 5th overall. But one of the main philosophies that me and my agent had was, doesn't really matter where, when we go. It's more so about where we go. And I think getting a chance to go to Edmonton, where the fan support's through the roof, the facilities are great, and with the new GM in town and whatnot, and the coaching staff that I've been told they're all great people, and with Shamad Chambers telling me all those great things. So I think I found a great spot.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we're definitely all very excited to learn more about you for sure. So let's kind of go back to where this all started. Who introduced you to football, and when did you start playing?
Funny enough, my family friend introduced me to football. I used to be a big fan of the European football, so soccer, growing up. So that's what I usually played. And then it wasn't until grade 9, my buddy told me, listen, like, you're too big to be playing soccer. You got to play. You got to come over and play football with me, because he played running back at that time. And I was like, football, I don't know, it's too aggressive for me at first. And then, so I started off as a receiver. And then, funny enough, grade 10, the head coach at that time was a Laurier alumni. And he said I look very similar to a star D lineman on the team at that time named Chima. And he later on actually got a tryout with the Detroit Lions, funny enough. But he said, you look kind of like him, and you have the same arm length and whatnot, so we're going to throw you over to the D-line as DN. And I've never really thought about playing defense because I've wanted to be the person that scores touchdowns and whatnot. And then after I got my first sack, I realized that was the position I wanted to play, and that's when I fell in love with football.
That's awesome. Hey, speaking of getting a sack, I was watching your the video on you, and you have this really cool celebration after you get a sack where you stand up and it kind of looks like you're showing a title belt. Is that what it is? Yeah. And where did that kind of come from and start?
I think it comes from ever since, so pretty much coming into university, a lot of scouts, even in university, said that I was undersized to play the end. They said that I didn't weigh enough and whatnot, and I couldn't hold my own. So throughout all my university career, I had to fight these criticisms, and mainly was like, this player could never be a premier defensive end. And I came into my first year at Laurier weighing 210. By the end of the season, I was weighing 205, right? So I've been able to adapt throughout the 4 years. I've been gaining weight. I've been able to learn the game. And the way I play, I'm very patient, even though I'm a pass rusher. And that's kind of what made me the player that I am today. And I would like to say that I'm probably one of the best pass rushers in the CIS or now youth sports. And I think whenever I think about what people told me what I couldn't do coming into first year, I always go back and say, now I'm the champion. So doing that little celebration with the title belt just kind of makes me feel good and strokes my ego and lets the people know that I'm on top.
Well, I mean, considering you do have the sack record for Wilfrid Laurier, I think you did pretty well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So at the Combine, I mean, you really stood out with some massive push on the ball. What was that week like for you, and was there stress involved, or...?
Yeah, the Combine was a tough situation. I think that I was also personally in a tough situation at that time. As you probably know, I'm in business and I'm in accounting here at Laurier. And this past winter, I was in my last co-op term, and I worked at PwC, which is one of the bigger auditing firms in the country and the world. So I was trying to make sure that I left the job with great stellar reviews while also trying to prepare for the Combine. So that was very stressful, and just trying to figure out, I was trying to figure out my priorities. And I think if I were to able to go back now, I'd definitely try shifting a bit more of my research to the Combine. But I think the Combine itself was a great experience. Obviously, just certain aspects of the Combine I wish I could have done a bit better, but I think the intangible aspect, like the interviews and whatnot, I think the interviews went well. I felt like I built a good relationship with the coaching staff, and ironically enough, with people like Jason Moss, the head coach, I felt like I felt comfortable having a conversation with them. So it just seems like everything landed where it had to be.
That's awesome. And I mean, I thought in the one-on-ones you were amazing. I really thought you stood out. So now that's funny. You were talking about being in business, and I watched the interview that you had with Brody Lawson, who was a former guest on our show, and she said you're a super smart guy. So I mean, while you're kind of doing all of this together, doing the business degree over the last few years, but what's the experience been like at Wilfrid Laurier all the way through?
Oh, it's been great. Again, the philosophy here at Laurier, it's kind of like they don't really care about whether you're a senior, you're a rookie. Like, as long as you come into the system and you show they can ball, they'll put you on the field. And that's how I got situated in the position that I was in, where I was weighing 210, and they just saw something in me and they threw me on, even though there were seniors on the team. So that made the transition a bit easier, and it just made me trust the coaching staff and know that it doesn't matter where you're, doesn't matter your status on the team, whatever, you can easily lose your job. So that kept me on my tippy toes throughout my whole 4 years. So definitely built discipline and respect for the game. And on the academic side, the BBA program here is one of the best in the country, and I'm just grateful I was able to do both. And now that my CIS career is kind of twirling down, I'm starting to realize that I started realizing after third year that playing professional football is what I want to do. So I know there's a lot of talk and a lot of negotiation about Kwaku is a good player, but we don't know whether he's here for the long haul. And I just want to reiterate that I'm going to be here for the long haul. That's what I want to do.
Music to our ears. That's fantastic.
So we love getting to know you as Kwaku the football player, but outside of football, what do you like to do?
I always find this a really tough question because if I'm not playing football or if I'm not studying for an exam, there's really nothing else that I have. My life
sleeping?
is pretty much just Sleeping. Yeah, sleeping is my hobby. Since now I can't. I no longer can say football is my hobby, I guess, right? At this point, so sleeping is my hobby. Sleeping and eating, those are the key things right there.
those are both very good things to do. I appreciate both of those things myself. Yeah. See, we're matching with him already. I'm sure we can play on the... No, we can't. Okay, let's do some rapid fire questions here to get to know you a little bit better. What's your favorite movie?
Forrest Gump, I think.
Nice.
Oh, excellent. I don't know if you have time for something like Netflix, but if you do, what are you watching these days?
Oh, How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, what's your favorite meal, being that eating is a hobby?
Sweet potatoes, chicken breast, and broccoli.
Wow. Good and healthy, too.
Exactly.
What about music? What are you listening to these days?
I'm a fan of music in general, so it doesn't really matter what genre, what band, whatever. So right now, I don't know. I was just listening to Drake's recent album, More Life, but realistically, it doesn't matter whether it's pop or whatever, so I'll listen to everything.
I heard you're kind of a pop fan, actually.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind a little bit just to be a little kind of stuff when I'm happy and just want to rejoice, right? And then sometimes if I just want to relax, country music is good, and sometimes if I'm kind of angry, rap music, gangster pop or something like that. So there's music and genres that match up depending on what my lifestyle is or how I feel.
Awesome. Are you a gamer at all? And if you are, what would you play?
I wouldn't say I'm a huge gamer, but if I do have the controller in my hands, I usually play FIFA or Madden. I'm a big fan of playing sports games.
Yeah, that's been the running theme, I think, is sports games.
If you could travel anywhere right now, if you could get on a plane going anywhere, where would you go?
Oh, probably New Zealand.
Oh, very nice.
I'm a big fan of rugby, and New Zealand is historically they've done really well in rugby, and I've only heard great things about New Zealand and how beautiful it is. So I'd love to change up my culture and check that out.
Oh, nice pick. Okay, this is a little bit of a tougher one, but if you could spend 1 hour to talk to anyone, either dead or alive, who would it be and why?
That's a tough question.
I know.
Wow.
I got to put one tough one in there. Come on.
Maybe Will Smith. Actually.
Nice.
Will Smith back in the era of Fresh Prince. So that's right after he finished his bankruptcy scandal, and he's starting up from the bottom again. So it would just be nice to get his point of view of life and how he felt at that time. I've always looked up to Will Smith and what he's been able to do across entertainment. He's done everything.
That is awesome.
That's a great pick. Absolutely. Now, we saw that you have a minicamp invite with the Chicago Bears. So, of course, we may have to wait to see you for a little bit. But if and when you do get up here, what qualities would you bring to the Esks?
I think I bring certain set of intangibles that a lot of players might not be able to bring. It comes down to, I would say, I'm quite an intelligent individual. I'm a leader on the field, and I know that that's probably going to take a while for me to grasp that role going into a professional team. But I feel like I'm very mature and very disciplined in what I do, and when I'm committed to something, I'm fully committed to it at all times. So I think you get someone that's just mature, above his age, and someone that can rush the passer effectively, and I'm very confident in my abilities to rush the passer. I think the only biggest thing is just me figuring out how big these O-linemen truly are in the CFL, and I know from little conversations with Esse Morambe, who plays in Saskatchewan, he always says that Edmonton has the biggest O-linemen. So, so at least if I get a chance to practice against these O-linemen, hopefully I'll be able to translate that to the other competition. So it's almost like you're playing against the best during practice, and when you go out for a real game, hopefully it's a bit easier.
Well, and that's the way you do it. That's right. If you practice against the best, then when you play, the game seems easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal, fingers crossed. But I think the biggest thing is that coming off the bat is just my intangibles and my personality will shine, and just I think where I'll make my due is on special teams. So I'm excited for that.
Fantastic. Do you have a nickname that you go by on the field?
Can you
say it on here? No, I got.
Yeah, of course. I got a nickname throughout my CIS career, Earth Kwaku.
Nice.
The commentator at our sporting events, he loved that. He yeah, if I ever trademark that, I'd probably owe him royalties. So Earthquake is my nickname.
That's awesome. As soon as you get up here, we're all going to have Earthquake t-shirts. It'll be fantastic. Well, you know, man, we can't thank you enough for joining us tonight for the show. Where do people find you online and kind of track down where you're at in your career?
You can always Google me, or if you want to have a bit more personal relationship with me, just follow me on Twitter. And that's Kwaku, my first name, Boateng, but the E is flipped with a 3, so it's Kwaku Boateng with a 3 instead of a E, and that's the same username for my Instagram.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Well, good luck in the mini camp. I guess we will say good luck in the mini camp. It's hard for us because we want to see you here, but good luck, of course, down there. And one day, you know, you always know you got a place to come back, and we're ready to have you up here and have this place called home.
Thank you so much for the interview, and thank you so much for the conversation. I'm excited to wear that green gold. So hopefully, I'll see you guys soon. Well,
Superfan, it is that time again. Patreon, patreon.com/EskEmpirePod. That's right. If you haven't already, join us on the Patreon at patreon.com/EskEmpirePod.
Just like the song.
Kind of. And we talked about off the top with people listening to Andrew Nowacki.
Yeah.
And we just posted the full uncut or full length interview on Patreon. A couple bucks a month gives you access to those full length interviews. And Andrew had some great stuff. I mean, the interview we had was awesome, but the other stuff that we wanted to make sure we kind of fit everything in, where he talked a bit more about the 2005 Grey Cup and stuff, was just
talked about his first training camp, talked about getting drafted, talked about his relationship with Ed and Jason as well. Yeah. The interview in the full episode was about 15 to 16 minutes. This is 35 minutes, so more than double length. So worth it right there.
Absolutely. And again, we've got some of the older ones with podcaster Ryan and with Blake Dermott.
Yep.
And we do have the Jameson one.
Yeah, that one's going to be coming out in about a week. So get that Patreon subscription in there. Like Andrew said, $2 is pretty cheap, I think. Less than a cup of coffee at Tim's. And worth it. It's the kind of thing that you can listen to just a ton of great extra content.
Well, and remember, that type of stuff helps us as we are going forward with trying to, obviously improve in the podcast. We're always trying to make better quality sound. We're trying to get a few upgrades in the Turf District here. Of course, we will always continue with the free show on iTunes and Google Play and all those fun things.
Yep.
But we want to expand the empire. We want to make sure that we can hopefully get that tailgate going and these types of things. And that's where that helps out. So if you've ever thought, hey, I mean, I like the show and I kind of like to help these guys out, then that's a great way to do it.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, Superfan, that was really cool to get those guys on.
Love getting to meet these guys on the cusp of them becoming Eskimos. Just two phenomenal human beings.
Absolutely.
As well as amazing players.
Absolutely. And, for them to just be so open and wanting to be part of the empire right away, like I just thought, kudos to them, to young guys, obviously, the quick connection on Twitter and all those types of things. But man, I tell you, I was just so impressed with the way they answered and their passion and excitement.
Yeah, I was just going to say excitement's a great word. They just really seemed really excited and happy to be not only playing in the professional league, but playing for the Edmonton Eskimos. And that's what you want. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, easygoing enough guys that we can have a couple of laughs. So
absolutely.
That's what we're looking for. Those are
can't wait for rookies to get here and have Odell teach them a little bit about how to play some Madden.
Oh man, yeah, those poor boys.
Yeah, they don't know what they're up against. But
yeah, that's all coming down.
Please, Odell, don't hurt them.
Anyway, I hope they both make it here at some point. Not that I wish Kwaku any bad about the Chicago Bears, but I hope they both get here because I'm just so impressed.
Yeah. Again, like we said, both really talented guys. They have a lot of immeasurables that you just don't see at those combines and things like that. From the way they're talking, if they can play half as well as that, they're going to be long-time favorites of this team in this league.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to order my Earth Kwaku shirt.
Oh, for sure.
That's going to be a
hashtag Earth Kwaku.
And that is the hashtag for this show.
Oh, no question.
It's got to be hashtag Earth Kwaku. I forgot to ask Nate about his nickname. We'll have to make sure we do that when we catch up with him next time. So make sure you follow those dudes on Twitter. So at Nate Behar 11. That's NateBehar 11, and then Kwaku Boateng is at KWAKUBOAT3NG, and follow those guys. Obviously, they're like I said, they're excited to be part of the Empire, and we want to follow them all the way through. A reminder as well, of course, that the West of Us kickoff is May 26th at 6 p.m. at First Round Downtown on 112th Street and 104th Avenue. And, of course, we will be there from probably 6 till 10 or 11, but we hope all of you in the Empire can join us there. We can get all prepared for training camp that starts 2 days later. I did create an actual party on the Facebook page under Eskimo Empire Podcast or Esk Empire Pod Facebook page. So follow there and let us know if you're going to be able to join in the party so that we kind of know how big a group we're looking at.
Yeah, drop on in at whatever time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will start sending out some special invites to special guests as well in the coming weeks.
Okay, maybe not me, but everyone else.
Yeah,
you're all special.
I've been sitting here all night. I'm not special at all. I just enjoy it. Anyway, we will be back, of course, next week as well with a featured fan, as we talked about last week, talk about the upcoming season, and, of course, the Esk's Women's Dinner, which looked like it went over very well. I'm excited to talk to her about what her thoughts were on that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes. So are we ready to see the whole lineup of new draft picks on the field?
Absolutely.
For Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.